the total number of segments on the body of palaemon. There are 19 segments. Total are there are 19 segments on the palaemon body. 19 segments are there. These 19 segments, they are with in the arranged in the two regions. There are two regions. The total body of a palaemon, prawn, divided into two regions. One, cephalothorax. Second one, abdomen. Cephalothorax. The two parts are the head and thorax. Both are fused and is unsegmented, whereas the abdomen is segmented. It's a totally a single piece. Cephalothorax is unsegmented. A single piece is there, that is called cephalothorax. Cephalo means head, and this thorax is after the head, part above the abdomen is called thorax. So both are fused to form the cephalothorax, is unsegmented part. And the anterior most part of the cephalothorax, the anterior most part of the cephalothorax, this is called rostrum. It is serrated. Rostrum is serrated, and this cephalothorax, the anterior part is covered by a hard epiderm. The exoskeleton is there. The hard exoskeleton on the anterior part of the cephalothorax is called dorsal shield. It is called dorsal plate, also called dorsal shield. And the posterior part, this is called carapace. So dorsal plate and carapace, two parts are there. Dorsal plate anterior most part is serrated, and there is a orbital notch. It's called orbital notch. It is accommodated with a compound eye. So the orbital notch is with a compound eye. Serrated rostrum is present, and anterior part is called dorsal plate or dorsal shield, and posterior part of the cephalothorax is called carapace. The total part, okay, and cephalothorax is 13 segmented. It is a 13 segmented. In the 13 segmented, head bearing 5 segments and thorax with 8 segments. So totally 5 plus 8, 13 segmented. Actually the total body of the prawn is of 19 segments. 5 plus 8, 13 in the cephalothorax. Coming to the abdomen, there are 6 segments. 6 segments, all are segmented. So coming to here, cephalothorax is 13 segmented, head is with 5 segments, and thorax with 8 segments. Next, coming to the abdomen. Abdomen of the prawn, palaemon, is segmented and is containing the 6 segments. And each segment is attached with a membrane that's called arthroidal membrane, which is useful for the movement of the abdominal segments. The last part of the abdominal segment, after the sixth segment, there is a telson. It's called telson. Telson is not considered as a segment. This is the 6th segment. After 6th segment, there is a telson, and before the telson There is a Europarts also there. Europart. But tension is not considered as a segment because it is originated after the segment completion. That is called post-segmental origin. Post-segmental origin. That's why a tension is not considered as a segment. So the total abdominal segments are 6 segments only. The openings. The holes present on the Macrobacterium malcolmsoni, that is commonly called prawns, palaemon, malcolmsoni, the external apertures, the outside openings we are discussing now. Here, first one is mouth. Mouth is located mid-ventrally in the anterior cephalothorax. So it is mid-ventral on the cephalothorax. Cephalothorax, the anterior most part in the mid-ventral, there is a small opening is there, that is called mouth. Second one, anus. It is a longitudinal slit. It is a longitudinal slit present at the posterior most part of the palaemon. So the vertical or longitudinal slit is present in the posterior most part of the palaemon, that is called anus. Anterior most part on the cephalothorax, there is a small opening in mid-ventral opening is there, that is called mouth. Next one, third one, female genital apertures. Female genital apertures. They are one pair on the third pair of walking legs. The starting part of the leg, which is entering from the body of the prawn, that starting part is called coxa. So on the coxa, the genital apertures are present. Female genital apertures in the females, they are located on the third walking leg. As a coxa of the third walking leg. And fourth one, male genital apertures. Male genital apertures, they are also one pair located on the, it is called coxa of fifth pair walking leg. In the males, they are one pair. Female genital apertures are located on the coxa of third pair of walking leg, also one pair. So these are the openings, also called apertures, present on the palaemon, that's called prawn, Macrobacterium malcolmsoni. Palaemon, mouth, anus, female genital aperture and male genital aperture. And lastly, fifth one, a minute two openings are present. Minute two openings are there. Those are called statocyst. They are also one pair, also called two. So two minute openings called statocysts also present on the outer surface of the cephalothorax. So these are the 5 out openings on the prawn. Next is the exoskeleton. The exoskeleton of prawn, the Macrobacterium malcolmsoni, also called palaemon malcolmsoni. The exoskeleton is called cuticle, made up of cuticle. The upper surface of the prawn, the cuticle, is in the form of sclerites. So on the cephalothorax or on the abdomen, the cuticle is covered on the prawn. That cuticle part is called sclerites. So cephalothorax. Suppose first one, if you taking the cephalothorax, the dorsal shield and serrated rostrum or dorsal shield, and there is a orbital notch. So this is the already discussed. These two parts are there. So the cephalothorax, the anterior part is called dorsal shield, also called dorsal plate. Anterior most part is called rostrum. Is called rostrum. Rostrum is serrated rostrum, and there is in the dorsal shield, the rostrum, the posteriorly, it have a orbital notch. In that orbital notch, there is a compound eye is present. A compound eye, it is stalk. So stalked compound eye present inside the orbital notch of the dorsal shield, and the posterior part of the cephalothorax is called carapace. It's called carapace. This part is called lateral part. The lateral part of the cephalothorax is hanging. It's called gill chamber, also called branchiostigite. This is called gill chamber, also called branchiostigite. It is a hanging lateral part, plural part of the carapace. It is hanging both the sides. It is called branchiostigite, also called gill cover. So this is the cephalothorax region containing the serrated rostrum, orbital notch accommodated with the stalked compound eyes, and the dorsal shield backside. The posterior part is called carapace. The hanging covering of the gill chamber or gills is called branchiostigite. The sclerites present in the abdomen. Abdominal sclerites. Dorsal or dorsally, they are covered, the cuticle covering the sclerite and the dorsal surface of the abdominal 6 segments. Each one segment on the abdomen, the 6 segments are movable by arthroidal membrane, and uppermost or dorsal side, the sclerite is called tergum, and ventral sclerite. Ventral sclerite is called sternum, and sides lateral sclerites are called pleura. Dorsal sclerite is called tergum, ventral sclerite is called sternum, and lateral sclerites are called pleura. The abdominal appendages are arises. Already discussed, pleoparts, that's called sphymerates, are present. These sphymerates arising from the each and every segment of the abdomen. There are 6 abdominal segments are there. Each abdominal segments gives one pair of pleoparts, also called sphymerates. The part where the sphymerates or pleoparts are arising, coming outside from the abdominal segment, that part is called epimeron. So from the pleural side, there is a epimeron. Epimeron is one of the part where from this epimeron the pleopods, swimmerets are emerges outside. So the dorsal covering is called tergum, ventral covering is called sternum, lateral sclerates are called pleura. Imbricate arrangement. Imbricate. What is the imbricate arrangement? In the palaemon, the macrobacterium malcolmsoni, the abdominal segments with their sclerites, dorsal, tergum, ventral, sternum and lateral pleura. The arrangement of the pleura and dorsal tergum. So tergum and pleura sclerites, they are covered, somewhat slightly covered to the succeeding abdominal segments. So the tergum and pleural sclerites of the abdomen, they are slightly covers the succeeding segments also. This type of arrangement of sclerates is called imbricate arrangement. Imbricate arrangement. We already discussed it. That is, the dorsal sclerates are called tergum, ventral sclerate is called sternum, and lateral are called pleura. And another point here in the exoskeleton, the spines. Spine-like structures. There are two types of spines are there. Number one, antennal spine. Second one, hepatic spines. These two spines are present or located on the cephalothorax. I will discuss it here about the cephalothorax. The anterior most part is serrated and the optical notch. So this is a carapace, this is the dorsal shield is there, and here the spines, this is the orbital notch, just adjacent to the optical notch there are two spines are present, the anterior spine and is the posterior spine. The anterior spine is called antennal spine. The posterior spine is called hepatic spine. Hepatic spine. So these are the two spines in the exoskeleton. The two types of spines also present. The exoskeleton of the palaemon is made up of cuticle. It is a chitinous cuticle. The total body is covered by cuticle, and head region, that's called cephalothorax region, and abdominal region totally is covered by cuticle. And this is the imbricate arrangement, that is called the tergum and pleura of one of the abdominal segments is slightly covers the succeeding abdominal segments. This type of arrangement is called imbricate arrangement, and each abdominal segment is movable because between the two abdominal segments there is a linking membrane is there, that's called arthroidal membrane. That's why they are movable. Another point in the exoskeleton is the hinge joint. Hinge joint. Hinge joints. It is present on the abdominal segments. Present in the abdominal segments. Each and every abdominal segment. Suppose first one, second, third, and fourth one. Here, every abdominal segment except the third and fourth, every abdominal segment containing a pair of hinge joints on the segments, a pair of hinge joints which are hook-like structures are there. They can attach us to the before and the posterior segment. This type of linking system with the hook system is called hinge joints are there in the abdominal segments, except on the third